Good evening and welcome to the campus of UW Whitewater. I'm your host, Sam Matheny, and alongside me is my co-host, Matt Bruzis. Joining us now is our special guest, Kortu Josiah. But first, we ask you to please excuse our momentary interruption of sports from your regular daily schedule. Let's get right into it. Last season, the Packers faced a devastating loss to the 49ers, who was coached by Kyle Shanahan. Coming off a 38-10 loss to Bruce Arians and the Buccaneers last week, are the Buccaneers the next 49ers when it comes to playing against Green Bay?
I don't think so, because I think with the new format of the 7 teams being in each conference, I don't think that there's a chance that the Packers play the Buccaneers in the playoffs, because there's different scenarios. But for this week, Aaron Rodgers said in a post-game press conference in 2014, 5 letters, R-E-L-A-X. Relax. This is one game. This is against a really good defense, a fast defense, a really underrated defense, and it really exploited the weaknesses in the Packers system. They really like to run the ball heavy, and this was against the first rush defense in the NFL. This is a game where the Packers needed to kind of take the hit and kind of move forward and pass this and know where they are standings, because they're seeing all the praise from everyone that they were riding high. They were 4-0. They were coming off a bye. Everyone looked good. Aaron Rodgers back to his old self. I think this has exploited the weaknesses where the Packers need to really address.
I would agree. I think it was a punch in the face to the Packers. The Buccaneers came in. They weren't off their bye like the Packers were. Packers came down and scored on the first drive, but the Buccaneers really came in and dominated the rest of the game. And I think a little bit more exposed than anything was just the rest of what the Packers don't have. Weapons on offense, lackluster defense. It's not like Tom Brady had this incredible game, but what he did was he's brought this mantra onto the Buccaneers of a winning culture. You don't get 4 Super Bowls by doing nothing. Yeah, I think he really probably took that mantra of it's him versus Rodgers. He doesn't want these comparisons. He wants to be the best, and I think that's kind of what happened to him.
You know, Packer fans, they got to take 5 letters, just like you said, Matt. W-O-R-R-Y. The reason I say that is because they have been really testing it when it comes to what they do come postseason. They need to be able to take what they're doing and implement that into their game plan. It seems like they're just choking every single season, and that's why I think they need to worry.
Yeah, but one thing, I think that Aaron Rodgers has really looked back at himself and revitalized his career. He's really made an emphasis on going back to the fundamentals, and he really actually, and they can take a positive way from that first quarter. They were able to put up 10 points, and the defense was able to get stops. If they can take that approach and just go from there and not worry about the rest of the game, they're going to be okay, because then they can actually worry about it when it counts.
But they didn't do that against the Bears. They had a different story when it came to playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Packers just didn't play like that, though. I would disagree, because I think that they like Kortu said himself, they got punched in the face, and they really had to humble themselves and not be all on their horse.
And I would say that maybe Rodgers shouldn't go back to the basics. I mean, he had one of his worst games. It showed how human he was. I mean, he threw back-to-back picks. Granted, the second one was a bit tough in the way where he threw it and it got tipped and deflected. But, I mean, once Rodgers got shook, I think the rest of the Packers kind of collapsed. He's their leader. He's the guy they trust to. And when he couldn't get it done, the rest of the team just had nothing to do.
Yeah, and I also agree, but the Packers have really relied on Aaron Rodgers this season, putting up points, and the defense was bend, don't break, and this was a case where the defense broke and Aaron Rodgers wasn't able to pull up points. But I think Aaron Rodgers rebounds in a big way.
Next up, we'll discuss the return of Big Ten football. We'll be right back. Please excuse this commercial break.
Warhawks know what it takes to become champions. At the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater, our student athletes pursue excellence with a determination that inspires everyone on campus. Warhawks are smart. Warhawks are strong. Warhawks value service. We prepare our student athletes for life after college. The University of Wisconsin-Whitewater. Come be part of the Warhawk family.
As an Army ROTC cadet at Whitewater, you have the opportunity to develop into a great leader while learning and applying the Army values to your everyday life. Within ROTC, you have the chance to travel overseas in the CULP program to train with other militaries, attend many elite Army schools such as Airborne and Combat Diver, and you have the opportunity to attend conferences and guest lectures by some of the Army's top-ranking officers. Our Warhawk cadets participate in many extracurricular activities, Division III sports, Greek life, intramural sports, among many other team building and community service events. Being a cadet at Whitewater is more than just being part of the Army. It's also about being active members in our community and coming together to form a family atmosphere. Anyone who wants to be a part of something bigger than themselves while developing themselves professionally should consider UW-Whitewater ROTC. To sign up for UW-Whitewater ROTC, go to the 4th floor of McCutcheon Hall to room 417.
UWW-TV has been an important part of the campus and community since 1980.
Not only providing on-air learning opportunities for broadcast journalists and electronic media production students,
but educating and entertaining our audiences with award-winning news, live sports coverage, original programming,
as well as dedicating the mission to developing creative collaborations throughout campus.
For more information, visit our website, our 24/7 stream, and like us on Facebook.
Check us out because you gotta see what's on UWW-TV.
Hey everyone, and welcome to this quarantine edition of Inside Warhawk Football. I'm your host, Sammy Huggins, and alongside me is head football coach Kevin Bowles. Coach, how are you today?
I'm doing fantastic, Sam.
With how things are going right now with COVID-19, do you think there will be a season, or has the WIAC talked about what sports will look like next semester?
You ask a great question, and every sport is asking that right now in the state of Wisconsin in the UW system schools. And right now, I mean, from a football aspect, the NCAA has given us 5 games to be able to have as opportunities. Again, ultimately, though, our conference has to decide how does that look. I mean, those 5 games could be 5 games, and as we see a typical game. The other part is, though, maybe the conference decides to have 3 games and gives us 2 opportunities to scrimmage, compete in a different manner. So, I mean, ultimately, those are options that are all on the table. Nothing's been finalized at this point.
Parallel to what most professionals in sports are doing, will there be no in-person attendance at the stadium?
That one, you got to save that one ultimately for Mr. Callahan. And he's our athletic director, and he'll consult with our chancellor and our administration and the WIAC. I mean, I'm assuming that they will have some input on that as well. And that's something, if there is an opportunity, I hope there is. Obviously, it would be a very scaled down opportunity. But again, we'll see. You know as much as I do on that one, Samantha.
Well, thank you for being here today, Coach, and I look forward to seeing you next week.
We'll see you then, Sam.
That was this week's edition of Inside Warhawk Football on UWW-TV.
Welcome back to Please Excuse Our Momentary Interruption of Sports from your regular daily schedule. College football is welcoming back one of their best conferences this weekend, as the Big Ten is set to return. This news is coming after the conference decided not to have a 2020 season earlier this year. However, not every conference followed the Big Ten's initial plan. Conferences like the SEC started their season as early as September 26th. With the Big Ten coming late into the game, should the Big Ten teams have an opportunity to compete in the college football playoffs?
100%. Like you just said, it's one of the best conferences in the nation. I think with the talent and the teams that they have, they should 100% get a chance. They're starting a little bit later, yes, but I think they're going to get enough games in with enough and show enough quality to show you that teams like Ohio State have to have a chance. Michigan, Minnesota, Wisconsin. These teams have enough talent and enough firepower to make the playoffs.
Yeah, and I think they're going to pass the eye test really quick because even though the Big Ten is really known for their defense, they've also had a very underrated offense. Five Big Ten teams are ranked in the top 25, and only 4 are unbeaten in the Power 5. Oklahoma State, Clemson, Notre Dame, and Alabama. So this season is going to be unlike any other we have seen because the committee is going to have to rank maybe a 2-loss team or a 3-loss team, and they're going to have to rank it on the eye test. And so I think that's going to be big for the Big Ten because they're going to have even though they've played less games, they may have a chance because other teams are going to beat up on the other teams.
Matt, you mentioned how they had 5 in the top 25. That's pretty typical of the Big Ten, to be honest. But when you look at what's going to happen after the first week, half of them are going to be 0-1. The other half are going to be 1-0. And I think a lot of teams are going to plummet after that because all of their conference games, well, all of their games in general are just in conference. They don't have any non-conference scheduled. So I think that's the big thing. But when it comes to them being able to be in the playoffs? I'd say no. I think that their committee is not going to like it because they're playing 4 less games than them. How is that fair?
Yeah, I would agree with that, but I think that since the Big Ten has quality wins, and the committee normally prior seasons would rank the Big Ten on quality wins versus the top 25, the eye test, if you're a Big Ten champion. I think then if Ohio State or a Michigan gets into the Big Ten championship game and they win, they would be undefeated, and then 9-0, you would have to put Ohio State or a Michigan or a Minnesota or Wisconsin into the Final Four teams.
It's quality over quantity. I believe that, yes, SEC is probably the best conference, but the Big Ten, it's better than the Big 12, it's better than ACC. I mean, Clemson's facing who in these conferences? Not really much. Now they added Notre Dame, I guess that'll help them, but I think the Big Ten has the best. I mean, Ohio State has a Heisman Trophy candidate, and the way they're matching up in the conference, yeah, I agree. They're a team is going to have to go undefeated and going to have to win the Big Ten championship to make it. But I think the quality of wins they're going to have is better than some of the other ones that like the SEC and the Big 12 are playing.
No, I got to disagree. I think the SEC does have better teams in there, and that's because there are no non-conference games. There's not like an Alabama who's playing like the Ragin' Cajuns from Louisiana or something like that. You have a lot of teams playing their own teams in their own conference. There's no non-conference games there, so that's why I think that it should be like that.
Yeah, but I also think that since that I don't think the committee can put 4 SEC teams into the Final Four. There's no way. Or I don't think that they can put just from 2 conferences. We've not even discussed the Pac-12. I mean, they're coming in. What if an Oregon runs the table and they are the Pac-12 champion? So I think that there's many uncertainties in this season.
Next up, we're going to discuss one of the best players in baseball. After that, we'll discuss our predictions for the week. Please excuse this commercial break.
Here at UW-Whitewater Intramural Sports, we have a motto: a sport for everyone and everyone in a sport.
Come on!
Stepped it anyways. Oh, she got that off, and they're going to count it.
Had a blast. Always have fun at intramurals.
Every day we strive to go above and beyond that goal by providing healthy exercise, promoting leisure education, and giving students that competitive atmosphere they are looking for.
Yes! Yes!
It's exciting. Brings me back to those high school days with Friday Night Lights.
With our 25 different intramural sports offered, we guarantee that we have a sport for you. Go to our website and find your sport today.
The UC can get you connected to all your basic needs. Grab a coffee and a meal. Study by the fireplace. Bowl, play, and relax when you want to break from homework. The UC has much more to offer to Whitewater students. Go to the UC's website to see what's going on this week.
Video One Media Services provides accomplished students the opportunity to enhance their college experience by working with real-world clients. In addition, we provide clients local and affordable video options to better enhance their media needs. For more information on how Video One Media Services can help you with your next media project, email or call our office at 262-472-5659.
It has been taking away our potential for decades, but since 2009, campuses nationwide are becoming tobacco-free. Tobacco has been eliminated from bars, restaurants, and many other public places. Why should our schools be any different? For more information, visit the Ambrose Health Center.
Dominic Ottens, and this is your UWW-TV Sports Update. John Dietzen returns to the offensive line for his 6th and final season after injury. He'll be protecting starting quarterback Graham Mertz and the number 14 Badgers from an upset on Friday against Illinois. Green Bay Packers are coming off a 38-10 loss to the Buccaneers. Packers will look to rebound this Sunday against the 1-5 Houston Texans. Minnesota Vikings are also coming off a loss to the Atlanta Falcons, 40-23. The Vikings, who are last in the division, will have their bye week this week before playing the Packers. And we'll have more sports coming up for you right after this.
UWW-TV has been an important part of the campus and community since 1980.
Not only providing on-air learning opportunities for broadcast journalists and electronic media production students,
but educating and entertaining our audiences with award-winning news, live sports coverage, original programming,
as well as dedicating the mission to developing creative collaborations throughout campus.
For more information, visit our website, our 24/7 stream, and like us on Facebook. Check us out because you gotta see what's on UWW-TV.
Northwestern Wildcats will face off against Maryland on Saturday night. Head coach Pat Fitzgerald will look to make it consecutive wins against the Terrapins, dating back to 2017. Chicago Bears are coming off a 23-16 victory over the Carolina Panthers. The Bears will play the 4-2 Rams on Monday Night Football. Detroit Lions were also victorious on Sunday with a 34-16 victory over the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Lions will now play the 1-5 Atlanta Falcons in Atlanta. For more updates, stay tuned to UWW-TV. Check us out at uwwtv.org or tune into our 24-hour stream service at reslife.uw.edu/stream. I'm Dominic Ottens, and this has been your sports update on UWW-TV.
Welcome back to Please Excuse Our Momentary Interruption of Sports from Your Regular Daily Schedule. Clayton Kershaw and the Dodgers are set to be in their 3rd World Series in the last 4 years. Kershaw is known for being one of the most dominant pitchers ever, but has always struggled in the playoffs. Does Kershaw need a World Series ring to solidify himself as one of the greats?
I don't think he does because his talent is Hall of Fame talent. He has been phenomenal in the regular season, although he's tailed off in the postseason, but not as many people have come to see. He has... I think his losses have been blown out of proportion because they've been in do-or-die moments, and he's only given up 4.31 ERA in the postseason and a 2.43 ERA in the regular season. He's got over 2,500 career strikeouts. I think he's a Hall of Fame pitcher regardless if he wins a World Series ring with the Dodgers.
I think he's got to get the ring. I mean, you can't climb a mountain and not get to the top and they're going to say you're a great mountain climber. He's got to get the championship. That's how we compare in every sport as well. You know, you got to get the ring. You got to get the championship. There's nothing worse than saying he's a great regular season player and then the playoffs come. That's when the best players are supposed to perform, are supposed to make it and deliver for their team. Without a ring, I mean, he's to be a great pitcher, but I don't think he'd be considered the best.
That's where you're wrong. I think he is one of the best pitchers in the last 10 years. I would say that being one of the best pitchers, you don't have to have a ring. You look at all the players in the MLB history who have not had a ring, from Barry Bonds to Ty Cobb, the 4,000 hit man himself. You don't need a ring to be one of the greatest, and we've seen that, especially with Ken Griffey Jr. too. Yeah, and I think also is that his team around him has also struggled in the postseason. Like this season, I think is going to be different because he has a superior bullpen. Now he has Yo-Yo Reyes, he has Kenley Jansen as his closer, and I think that now Dave Roberts, the skipper for the Dodgers, will make sure that Kershaw doesn't get into bad situations, doesn't get himself into horrible situations that he can't pitch out of, and he has to know in the back of his mind that Kershaw struggles in the postseason.
But if he's one of the best, then he should be able to deliver for his team and get him there. I mean, in baseball, it's kind of a weird team sport, but an aspect of it, it's almost the pitcher versus the batter. So if he's as great and phenomenal as being the best ever, he should be able to deliver, get his team out of an inning, and get that ring. But without it, I don't know.
Kortu, pitching is only one aspect to the game. But next up, we'll have our predictions for the biggest games of the week. We'll be back after the break.
What does it mean to be a Warhawk?
It means allowing myself to dream big and think outside the box.
Pushing the limits of what I think is possible.
Seeing ideas through from start to finish.
Collaborating with professors and peers.
And seizing opportunities in the community to put my knowledge to use.
I'm studying abroad.
learning another language,
and listening to the stories of others.
I'm making lifelong friends and fearlessly sharing my gifts with the world.
As a Warhawk, I stay balanced,
take great care of myself,
and get out of my comfort zone.
I refuse to let the past determine my future.
And I'm taking confident steps in the directions of my dreams.
Sometimes it doesn't make sense.
And other times it couldn't be more exciting.
But I will keep my goals in mind
and never quit.
Because
that's the Warhawk way.
Turn us on. Flip them off. 91.7 WSUW. 91.7 is a student-run radio station serving the Whitewater area with a variety of original programs, live sports broadcasting, community events, and more. So turn us on 91.7 FM or stream us live at 917theedge.com.
UW Whitewater Athletics, a relentless pursuit of excellence across 22 sports, powered by a tradition of success. 20 national championships, 17 since 2002. 61 individual national titles. 24 National Athletes of the Year. 616 All-Americans. 115 Conference Scholar Athletes of the Year. 1,500 community service hours annually. Be a part of the tradition and join the Warhawk family.
Welcome to the University Bookstore. The University Bookstore provides students with the opportunity to purchase apparel, gift items, textbooks, snacks, supplies, and other necessities right here on campus. The bookstore is also home to textbook rental, where you can find many of your required textbooks. Our friendly staff always goes the extra mile to provide customers with a quick and pleasant experience. Visit the bookstore today to find great deals on everything you need to succeed as a Warhawk.
Welcome back to the show. Now we're going to give our predictions for this week. Let's start with the matchup of the undefeated AFC teams. Guys, who do you think will win between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Tennessee Titans this Sunday?
I got Tennessee Titans. I think the firepower of their offense is going to be too much for the Steelers. Ryan Tannehill, Derrick Henry, and A.J. Brown. I mean, Derrick Henry, just what he showed last week, he's throwing grown men to the ground. I think he's going to run through that defense, and Tennessee is going to continue on their winning ways.
I'm going to have to disagree with you. I think the Pittsburgh defense is really on point this season. T.J. Watt, Bud Dupree, they are getting it done. They are going to stop the run. I think Derrick Henry will not have a Derrick Henry type game. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers get it done. They win it on offense.
4Bs, Big Ben is back in business. I think he comes and he just destroys the Titans this week. He should be the comeback player of the year for a reason. And I think he's hungry for that division title, especially since he tore something in his shoulder last season. Guys, what about the big matchup for one of the most coveted trophies in all of college football, the Little Brown Jug? We have the Michigan Wolverines and the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Who do you have?
Oh, Big Ten's back, and I think Minnesota's going to get this game. I think Michigan, as Harbaugh has kind of shown, he can't get it done in big games, and they haven't even named their quarterback, so I think Minnesota, with their success from last season, will win this one.
Yeah, I agree. I think Tanner Pearson and I think that Rashad Bateman will get it done this season for the Minnesota Golden Gophers. They have too much star power. They have too much returning starters on offense and defense. I think they have too much experience and get it done in this game in prime time.
And I'm going to agree as a third member. I think PJ Fleck coming off of this Big Ten Coach of the Year award, I think that's huge. But without Antoine Winfield Jr. and their secondary at the safety position, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. But I do have the Gophers as well. How about the Iowa State Cyclones and the Oklahoma State Cowboys?
I think it's been a weird year for college football, and I know Oklahoma State doing pretty good. But I think Iowa State comes in and gets the upset win.
I think Oklahoma State is one to make the push for the Final Four teams. Brock Purdy, Chuba Hubbard, and Tyler Wallace have been really good on offense. They are going to outperform Iowa State on defense. I think Oklahoma State wins in a blowout.
I disagree. I think Iowa State's going to win because they've had 3 primetime matchups already as W's: Oklahoma, Texas Tech, and TCU. That'll do it for us here tonight, folks. Thank you for watching, and tune in next time to hear more hot takes all around the world of sports. This has been Please Excuse Our Momentary Interruption of Sports from your regular daily schedule on UWW-TV.